Nina, Claire has slit her wrists." On the other end of the phone, Lucas's voice carried a panic I had never heard before. Meanwhile, I was being pinned down firmly on the ground by 2 bodyguards. A sharp pain of dislocated bones shot through my calf, making my whole body tremble in agony. "Lucas, save me." But he coldly hung up the phone, leaving only the words, "Handle it yourself." "Madam, sir won't be coming back tonight." The butler Antony's voice sounded from behind, carrying a hint of sympathy. I sat in the center of the messy living room, my calf encased in thick plaster, like a joke abandoned by the whole world. Today was my birthday, as well as the 3rd anniversary of my marriage to Lucas. I had personally prepared a table full of his favorite dishes, changed into the red lawn dress he liked the most, and waited for him to return with full joy. What I waited for, however, was the news that he had sent people to break my leg for his first love, Claire. At the moment the bodyguards burst in, I was still in the kitchen stewing soup for him. They told me expressionlessly, "Lucas said you shouldn't have provoked Miss Claire. This is a lesson for you." I tried to resist, tried to explain that I had never even met Claire. But they only obeyed Lucas's orders. When the excruciating pain shot from my calf, I dialed Lucas's phone and used my last bit of strength to beg for his help. I thought that after 3 years of marriage, even if it was like raising a cat or a dog, there should be some affection. But I was wrong. In his world, Nina, wasn't even worth one of Claire's hairs. "Handle it yourself." These words, like poison-quenched ice picks, pierced deeply into my heart, shattering my last shred of illusion. I was thrown into the living room like garbage by the bodyguards until the butler Antony, unable to bear it, called an ambulance. The doctor said it was a comminuted fracture of the calf. Even if healed, it would ache on rainy days, and I could never wear high heels again. I lay on the cold hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, sleepless all night. The next day, Lucas's special assistant Ryan came. He brought the best orthopedic doctor and also a divorce agreement. "Miss Nina," he didn't even bother to call me madam, "Lucas says your marriage ends here. This villa, along with 10 million in the card, is your compensation." I looked at the agreement and suddenly laughed. 10 million for one leg. Lucas was truly generous. I didn't look at the orthopedic doctor, just calmly said to Ryan, "Let him come himself." Ryan looked troubled. "Lucas is very busy, he's at the hospital accompanying Miss Claire." "Is that so?" I slowly propped myself up, the intense pain making me break out in cold sweat. "He's busy accompanying the woman who harmed me, yet leaves me, the victim, to handle it myself?" "Ryan, go back and tell Lucas, if he wants a divorce, let him come personally and talk to me." My voice wasn't loud, but it carried an unquestionable resoluteness. Ryan was stunned. He had been by Lucas's side for many years and had never seen me like this. The old me was always gentle and humble, not even daring to breathe loudly in front of Lucas. Perhaps my attitude was too firm, as Lucas came that afternoon. He was wearing an expensive handmade suit, his handsome face showing a trace of impatience and annoyance. "Nina, what tricks are you playing now?" He looked down at me condescendingly, his eyes cold. 10 million and you're still not satisfied? I looked at this face I had loved for a full 5 years, my heart feeling like it was being tightly gripped by an invisible hand, hurting so much I could barely breathe. 5 years, from 20 to 25, my best youth given to him. I gave up my studies, my dreams, washed my hands to make soup, thinking I could exchange for a bit of his true heart. In the end, I only got a broken leg and the words, "not satisfied." I took a deep breath, suppressing the bloody sweetness in my throat, and looked up to meet his gaze. "Lucas, 10 million can't buy the end of our 3-year marriage, nor can it buy justice for my leg. Then what do you want?" He frowned, as if hearing the biggest joke. "Nina, don't be ungrateful. If not for the fact you've been with me for 3 years, you wouldn't get a penny." "I don't want money," I said clearly, word by word. "I want you, Lucas, ruined and disgraced." Lucas laughed as if he had heard the biggest joke, sneering once, bending down, looking at me contemptuously with those eyes that once made me sink. "Ruined and disgraced? Nina, did breaking your leg break your brain too?" He reached out, wanting to pat my face, in a gesture like bestowing charity on a pet. I sharply turned my head, dodging it. His hand froze in midair, his face instantly darkening. On what grounds? His voice was laced with ice. On the grounds that you're the canary I kept in a cage? Or on your already bankrupt Sioux family? I didn't speak, just quietly looked at him. Looking at the coldness and arrogance beneath his handsome face. Yes, in his eyes, I had nothing and could only depend on him to live. My silence seemed to please him. He straightened up, resuming his superior posture. Sign the agreement, and the 10 million will be in your account immediately. Don't have any crooked ideas or provoke Claire again. Otherwise, next time, who knows what will break. He threw down these words and turned to leave. Lucas. I called him. He didn't turn back, just stopped impatiently. I won't sign. I looked at his back, my voice not loud but unusually firm. I said, I want you ruined and disgraced. Between us, it's not over. Lucas's shoulders stiffened for a moment, then he let out a disdainful cold snort and left the ward without looking back. The moment the ward door closed, all my strength seemed drained. I lay on the bed, burying my face in the pillow, biting my lip hard to not cry out. Tears mixed with blood soaked the pillowcase. Nina, don't cry. For such a man, it's not worth it. From today, you're no longer Mrs. Nina, you're just Nina. A Nina who will seek justice for herself and make that adulterous pair pay the price. I lay in the hospital for half a month. During this half-month, Lucas never appeared again. Only Ryan came every day, nominally to visit, but actually to monitor, ensuring I wouldn't play tricks again. I behaved extremely cooperatively, quietly recuperating every day, as if I had accepted reality. Ryan gradually relaxed his vigilance. On the day of discharge, he sent me to the villa door and said formulaically, Miss Nina, Lucas means you can stay here for another month to handle your personal items. Thank him for me. I smiled, dragging my still not fully agile leg, and walked into this home where I had lived for 3 years. Everything in the house was the same as when I left, just lacking vitality, appearing empty and cold. I didn't pack those expensive clothes and bags. I didn't want to take anything Lucas gave. I went straight to the study on the 2nd floor and opened the locked drawer in the corner. Inside, quietly lay an old wooden box. This was the only relic my mother left me when I married Lucas. I gently opened the box. Inside was a set of simple jade carving tools and a yellowed notebook. On the notebook's title page was my mother's graceful handwriting, Nina, may you carve jade with heart, treat people with sincerity, not fail your youth, not fail your own heart. My eyes instantly moistened. My mother was a top jade carving master in the country, and I was her only successor. After marrying Lucas, I put away all my sharpness, shelved this skill, just to be the gentle and quiet wife behind him. He once disdainfully said to me, what's the use of fiddling with these stones? Isn't being a wealthy madam good? At the time, I believed his nonsense. Thinking back now, it's truly ridiculous. I carefully closed the box and held it in my arms. This was my only luggage and my only capital for revenge. Before leaving the villa, I took one last look at this luxurious cage. On the living room wall still hung our huge wedding photo. In the photo, I smiled with happiness and sweetness, nestled beside Lucas. And he, though looking at the camera, had eyes full of detachment. I walked over, without hesitation took down the wedding photo, and smashed it hard on the ground. Crash, glass shattered everywhere, just like my broken heart. Lucas, the game has just begun. I didn't accept Lucas's 10 million compensation, nor did I stay in the villa he bestowed. Carrying the wooden box left by my mother, I rented a small house with a courtyard in an old alley in the south of the city. This place was once where jade carvers gathered, though now declined, the air still seemed filled with the scent of jade powder and thyme. The landlord was an elderly woman with white hair, Chin grandma. Seeing my leg inconvenience, she specially helped carry my luggage in. Girl, your leg. Chin grandma looked at my plaster, hesitating. Accidentally fell, it's fine. I smiled in reply. The first thing after settling in was to call my university mentor, the renowned domestic archaeology professor, Professor Leon. "Teacher, it's me, Nina." There was a long silence on the other end before Professor Leon's surprised and joyful voice came. "Nina? You girl, after graduation, you vanished like evaporated. How did you think to call this old man?" My nose tingled, forcibly holding back tears. "Teacher, I'm sorry. I... All right, don't mention past things." Professor Leon interrupted me. "Speak, what is it? Did you suffer grievances in the Lou family?" Back then, to marry Lucas, I didn't hesitate to fall out with Professor Leon, who loved me the most, giving up my guaranteed postgraduate qualification. Thinking now, I regret it deeply. "Teacher, I want to start over." I took a deep breath and said, "I want to open my own jade carving studio." Professor Leon was silent again. "Thought it through?" "Yes." "Enough money? Manpower? Channels?" Professor Leon threw a series of questions. "Money. I have some savings. The others, not yet." I lacked confidence. These 3 years as a full-time wife, I had been disconnected from society too long. "You girl, still so reckless." Professor Leon sighed. "All right, come to the school, I'll introduce someone to you." The next day, leaning on crutches, I went to Professor Leon's office. In the office, besides Professor Leon, there was a middle-aged man in a Zhongshan suit, with an elegant temperament. "Nina, come, let me introduce." Professor Leon greeted enthusiastically. "This is the museum's artifact restoration expert, Warren, Teacher Warren." "Warren, this is the most proud disciple I mentioned, Nina." Warren stood up, smiling gently at me. "Miss Nina, I've long admired your name. Professor Leon has praised you a lot in front of me, saying your talent in jade is rare in a century." I was flattered and quickly bowed. "Teacher Warren, you flatter me." Professor Leon had me sit and got straight to the point. "Nina, Warren is recently in charge of a project restoring a batch of newly unearthed Han Dynasty ancient jades. But manpower is insufficient, especially lacking craftsmen who understand ancient jade characteristics and have top carving skills. I recommended you to him." My heart jumped fiercely. Restoring Han Dynasty ancient jades? This was a challenge for me, but more so a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If I could participate, it would not only quickly restore my skills and practice but also make me famous in the industry overnight. Can I? I was somewhat unconfident. After all, I hadn't touched a carving knife for 3 years. "Your graduation design, that phoenix seeking phoenix, I still have it." Professor Leon looked at me, eyes full of encouragement. "I believe in you." Warren also nodded. "Miss Nina, I trust Professor Leon's judgment. If you're willing, you can report to the museum tomorrow." My eyes reddened instantly. When the world abandoned me, it was my mentor who extended a helping hand. Thank you, teacher Warren, I'm willing." Coming out of the school, I felt full of strength. Heaven never seals off all exits. "Lucas, did you think ruining one of my legs could ruin my life? You were wrong. What you destroyed was only the Nina who loved you to the point of losing herself. And now, the Nina reborn from the ashes will show you what true brilliance is." At the same time, in the Lou Group president's office, Lucas irritably tugged at his tie. On the computer screen was the company's latest financial report, with profits from several key projects declining to varying degrees. Since Nina left, he always felt life and work starting to go wrong. Before, no matter how late he came home, there was always a light on for him, a bowl of hot soup waiting. Now, the villa was empty, with only cold air. Claire had moved in, but she never lifted a finger, every day just shopping and pestering him for status. "Lucas, when are we getting married? Lucas, has that woman Nina moved out? Her things are so eyesore. Lucas." Lucas rubbed his aching temples, feeling for the first time that Claire was noisy. At this moment, Ryan knocked and entered. "Lucas, Miss Claire is downstairs, saying she'll wait for you to get off work together. Let her go back herself." Lucas didn't lift his head. Yes. Ryan paused, then reported, additionally, about Miss Nina, she was discharged today, didn't return to the villa, nor took the money. Our people lost her, temporarily don't know where she went. Lucas's hand gripping the pen tightened, ink blotting and glaring black spot on the document. Lost her? He lifted his head, eyes sharp as knives, a woman with a lame leg, and you couldn't follow? Sorry Lucas, Miss Nina, seemed to deliberately avoid our people. Ryan lowered his head, cold sweat streaming. An inexplicable anger rose in Lucas's chest. This woman, playing hard to get again? Find her. He almost gritted his teeth, dig 3 feet if you have to, find her for me. He wanted to see, without his protection, what this ignorant woman could become. In the following month, I practically lived at the museum. Teacher Warren arranged an independent studio for me, allowing me to focus on restoration work without distraction. Restoring Han Dynasty ancient jades is extremely difficult, not only requiring precise judgment of the jade material's texture and patina, but also testing the skills of mending and carving. Every day, I sat for over 10 hours facing those incomplete jades. From initial rustiness to later proficiency, I felt those skills I had once abandoned returning to my body bit by bit. My leg was also slowly recovering, though not yet for intense exercise. I could walk normally without crutches. That day, I had just finished restoring a jade by disc and was preparing to wrap up when Teacher Warren came in. He held a brocade box, with a mysterious smile on his face. Nina, hard work. Take a look at this. He opened the box. Inside was a piece of lustrous Hotan white jade seed material. The jade was fine and oily, full in shape, a rare top-quality piece. This is... I was puzzled. Next month is Beijing's annual Tiangong Award Jade Carving Competition. Warren said, this is material collected by an old friend of mine, he heard about you and specially brought it out, hoping you can use it to make a work for the competition. The Tiangong Award is the highest award in the domestic jade carving world, the stage countless craftsmen dream of. I was stunned. Teacher Warren, I've only been back a month, I'm afraid. Afraid of what? Warren interrupted, afraid you're not capable, or afraid of losing. He looked at me, eyes gentle yet firm, Nina, jade uncarved becomes no vessel. Same for people. Past experiences are your scars, but can also become the soul of your works. Go, carve what you want to say into the jade. Teacher Warren's words, like a beam of light, illuminated the confusion in my heart. Yes, what was I afraid of? I had nothing left, what couldn't I risk? I took the jade material, it felt warm and alive in hand. Okay, I'll go. In the following days, I devoted myself fully to preparing for the Tiangong Award. Days at the museum restoring ancient jades, nights back at my small courtyard conceiving designs. That piece of Hotan jade was placed by my bed. Every night before sleep, I would hold it, feeling its temperature and texture. What should I carve? Phoenix seeking phoenix? Dragon and phoenix auspicious? Those themes once symbolizing beautiful love now seemed only ironic to me. On a rainy night, I sat by the window, watching the banana leaves in the courtyard battered by rain. The old injury on my leg ached faintly, reminding me of that unbearable day. At that moment, inspiration struck like lightning. What I wanted to carve wasn't love, but breakage and rebirth. I immediately picked up a pen and sketched on paper. It was a phoenix in flames, wings broken, feathers scattered, eyes full of unyielding resolve. Under its sharp claws, trampled a ground of broken shackles. I named it, Nirvana. Meanwhile, Lucas was going crazy. A month, and Nina had vanished without a trace. He mobilized all connections, almost turning Beijing upside down, yet didn't find even a hair of hers. This realization made him feel unprecedented panic and irritability. A woman he thought he could control at will had so easily escaped his world. In the company, due to stagnation of core projects, shareholders were complaining. At home, Claire nagged daily about marriage, even meddling in company affairs, making him overwhelmed. Lucas, I don't care, we must get engaged by month's end. Or else I'll. Enough. Lucas slammed the documents down, losing temper at Claire for the first time. Besides this, what else can you say? Claire was stunned, eyes reddening. You're yelling at me? Lucas, are you still thinking of that bitch Nina? I told you to shut up. Veins bulged on Lucas's forehead. He found that now, hearing Nina's name made his heart twitch uncontrollably. He didn't know what was wrong. Clearly he didn't want that woman. Why now did he think of her constantly? Thinking of her gentle smile, the meal she made, her quiet profile reading on the balcony in the afternoon. He irritably waved Claire out. Sitting alone in the spacious office, he felt so lonely for the first time. He picked up his phone, inexplicably flipping to Nina's photo. It was the only photo of her in his wallet, an ID photo. In it, she was without makeup, eyes clear, with a timid smile. How had he not noticed before that she was actually very beautiful? Nina, where are you? He murmured, his voice carrying unnoticed fatigue and longing. Then, Ryan knocked, expression odd. Lucas, there's news of Miss Nina. Lucas stood abruptly. Where is she? She. Ryan hesitated, handing the tablet. She participated in this year's Tiangong Award jade carving competition, and just won gold. Lucas snatched the tablet. On screen was a live award ceremony. Under spotlights, a woman in plain cheongsam, graceful figure, receiving the trophy from judges. With light makeup, delicate features, a confident calm smile. She was like a polished brilliant jade, radiating undeniable light. It was Nina. Yet not the Nina in his memory. His gaze fixed on the screen, heart hammered hard. This was really the woman he casually discarded, thinking she couldn't live without him? In the live, the host excitedly introduced Nina's work. Let's congratulate Miss Nina again. Her work Nirvana, with wonderful conception, top carving, and the powerful vitality of rebirth from death, conquered all judges, undisputedly winning this Tiangong Award gold. This is not only a genius jade carver's emergence, but a grand event in jade carving. The camera showed the work Nirvana. Under lights, the flaming phoenix seemed alive. Broken wings, scattered feathers, every detail full of breakage, but those eyes conveyed resolve to burn all and rebirth. Lucas's breath caught. He understood. The broken was her past hurt by him. The reborn was her now, determined to sever all. She carved everything between them into this jade, declaring her rebirth to the nation. And he was the shackle trampled and shattered under the phoenix's claws. Huge humiliation and panic flooded him like tides. He stared at the radiant woman on screen, unable to connect her with the timid Nina who dared not speak loudly before him. She could carve jade? She was a genius carver? How did he know nothing? What had she hidden from him these 3 years? Lucas. Ryan looked at his ashen face, cautiously. Now, what to do? What to do? Lucas didn't know. He only knew he couldn't let her go like this. This woman was his. Even if he didn't want her, it wasn't for others to admire her light. Prepare the car. He grabbed his coat, hoarsely commanding, to the Tiangong Award ceremony site. He had to see her, ask clearly. Make her know who her true master was. However, when Lucas's car sped to the venue, the ceremony had ended. Crowds dispersed, only staff cleaning. He rushed in like a madman, grabbing a staff. Where's Nina? The Nina who just received the award? The staff startled, left long ago. Where? I don't know, seems with Palace Museum's teacher Warren for celebration banquet. Palace Museum? Warren? Lucas immediately had Ryan check. Soon, news came, Warren hosted a banquet at Beijing's top private club Lantingsu to celebrate Nina. Entry to Lantingsu was for the rich or noble, true upper circles of Beijing. Lucas's heart sank again. When did Nina connect to this line? Without hesitation, he drove to Lantingsu. At the door, security stopped him. Sir, please show your invitation. I'm Lucas of Lu Group, looking for someone. He suppressed anger. Sorry Lucas, no invitation, no entry. Security unmoved. Lucas, always successful in business, had never faced this. About to erupt, he saw a group exiting laughing. Leading were Warren and Professor Leon. Surrounded like stars around the moon was Nina. She changed from Cheongsam to a simple white dress, hair down, faint smile, listening to a young man beside her. The man, tall and straight, gentle temperament, looked at Nina with undisguised admiration and tenderness. Lucas's pupils constricted. He knew the man, Beijing Shan family's youngest son, Miles, young authority in cardiac surgery, boundless future. Miles said something funny, Nina laughed, eyes curving like crescents. That instant dimple, bright and dazzling, pierced Lucas's eyes. He had never seen her laugh like that. Before him, her smiles always carried flattery and humility. So, she could laugh, just not at him. An uncontrollable jealousy and anger exploded in his chest. No longer caring for demeanor, he broke through security and strode over. Nina. His roar stopped everyone, all turning to him. Nina's smile froze upon seeing him. The light in her eyes extinguished, replaced by cold indifference. As if looking at a complete stranger. This gaze, sharper than any knife, stabbed deep into Lucas's heart. He walked to her, staring hard, voice trembling with anger. You've grown capable, huh? Even know to find other men? Lucas's question, like a loud slap, hit everyone's face. Atmosphere froze. Warren and Professor Leon's faces darkened. Miles stepped forward, subtly shielding Nina, frowning at Lucas. This gentleman, please show some respect. Respect? Lucas sneered, gaze bypassing Miles to lock on Nina. She's my wife, I talk to her. Does an outsider like you get to interrupt? Ex-wife. Nina's cold voice came from behind Miles. She gently pushed Miles aside, stepped out, calmly meeting Lucas's fiery eyes. Lucas, we're divorced. My affairs are none of your business. Divorced? Lucas laughed as if hearing a huge joke. Did I agree? Nina, you haven't signed the agreement. Legally, you're still my wife. He thought invoking this would make her yield. However, Nina just looked faintly, even with pity in her eyes. Lucas, did you forget? When we registered, we signed a prenup. It clearly states if one party proposes divorce without objection, after 1 month's separation, marriage automatically dissolves. From the day I moved out, it's over a month now. Lucas was thunderstruck, whole body stiff. Prenup? He didn't remember at all. Back then, he had lawyers handle everything, he just signed at the end, never read carefully. He always thought he held the initiative in this marriage. Unexpectedly, she had left herself an exit long ago. You schemed against me? He looked incredulously. Schemed? Nina laughed, full of sarcasm. Lucas, you overestimate yourself. I just didn't want, when abandoned by you, to lack even the right to leave. Her words, like a sharp knife, precisely hit his most unbearable sore spot. What abandoned by him? Clearly she left without farewell. Nina, don't think winning a lousy award and knowing a few people makes you lawless. Lucas's reason burned away by jealousy and anger. I tell you, with one word from me, your so-called genius Jade Carver will disappear from Beijing tomorrow. This was his last card, his usual method. Using power and money to crush all he disliked. He thought Nina would fear, beg. However, what came was Professor Leon's angry shout. Lucas! You dare! Professor Leon trembled with anger, pointing at his nose. You arrogant brat! Nina is now a specially appointed expert in national artifact restoration, protected talent. Dare touch a hair of hers? I'll be the first to make you regret. National, specially appointed expert? Lucas was completely dazed. When did this happen? Looking at this utterly unfamiliar Nina, he felt deep powerlessness for the first time. She was no longer the canary he could toy with, she grew hard wings and sharp claws, flying to heights he couldn't reach. Lucas, Warren coldly spoke, Nina is our treasure, not someone you can bully. For being her ex-husband, we won't argue. Please leave immediately, don't embarrass yourself here. The words embarrass yourself like steel needles pierced Lucas's pride. He looked at Nina, she never glanced at him again, just turned, smiling apologetically at Miles. Sorry, Dr. Miles, made you see a joke. No matter. Miles's gaze gentle enough to drip water. It's late, I'll send you back. Okay. Nina nodded, following Miles, brushing past him. From start to end, no lingering. Lucas froze, blood seeming solidified. He watched their departing backs, so harmonious and glaring in the night. Unprecedented panic gripped his heart. He seemed really about to lose her. No, no. He turned sharply, roaring at her back, Nina. Stop. About Claire, it's a misunderstanding. He thought he must explain. He broke her leg because he thought she bullied Claire. Now he knew it was Claire's lies. He could compensate, double. Nina's steps paused. But she didn't turn. Her voice came clearly through the night wind. Lucas, don't you understand yet? Your mistake isn't because of Claire, nor misunderstanding. Your mistake is never having loved me. Your mistake is never having loved me. This sentence, like thunder, exploded in Lucas's mind. He stood dazed, body cold. Love? He never thought of that word. He married Nina because she was quiet, dutiful, no trouble, a qualified wife candidate. He thought marriage was mutual benefit, respectful as guests. He gave her affluent life, she gave him stable rear. What's wrong? But watching Nina's resolute departing back, he doubted his ideas for the first time. If he really didn't care, why did his heart hurt so? Hurt like splitting. Lucas, do we go back? Ryan asked softly. Lucas didn't answer, just stared where Nina disappeared, fists clenched, nails digging into palms, bleeding unnoticed. He recalled 3 years ago, first bringing Nina home. Old man liked her, holding her hand, this child Nina, looks reassuring. He had a moment of warmth. On wedding night, she shyly said, Lucas, I'll try to be a good wife. And she did. These 3 years, she managed home orderly, obedient to him, never complaining. He habituated to her presence, her contributions, taking all for granted. Until she left, he realized the woman he never cared for had etched such deep mark in his life. Investigate. Lucas's voice hoarsely unnatural, find out clearly what happened that night. He meant the night he sent people to break Nina's leg. He wanted to know what lies Claire told. Ryan went, efficient. Next day, detailed report on Lucas's desk. Report showed that night, Claire didn't slit wrists. She just lost an endorsement, bad mood, drank too much, slipped in bathroom, bumped forehead. Calling Lucas, she exaggerated, making it sound life-threatening. And Nina provoking her was fabricated. That time, Nina prepared their anniversary, barely left home, impossible to intersect with Claire. Bang! Lucas punched the desk hard. Mahogany cracked. So, he believed a woman's lies and sent people to break his wife's leg? While he rushed anxiously to hospital for that lie, his wife lay alone on cold floor, desperately begging him? Cruel facts like knives lacerated his heart. He recalled Nina's weak "save me" on phone. Recalled her dead eyes on hospital bed. Recalled her lonely back dragging injured leg leaving villa. Ah! Lucas roared like trapped beast, grabbing desk items, smashing wildly. Computer, files, ornaments, office in chaos. He never hated himself so. Hated his stupidity, arrogance, cold-bloodedness. Then, phone rang. Claire. Lucas, coming back for dinner? I stewed your favorite. Claire. Lucas interrupted, voice cold from hell, now, immediately, get out of my house. Claire stunned, Lucas, what did you say? I said get out. Lucas word by word, take all your things, disappear from my world completely. Or I'll show you what living hell is. He hung up, blacklisted Claire's number. He leaned back, panting heavily, chest heaving. Handling Claire brought no relief. Because he knew the route wasn't Claire, but himself. He pushed Nina away himself. Now, he would chase her back himself. Whatever the cost. He picked phone, called Ryan. Order 999,999 roses for me, send to Nina's studio. Transfer the West City land to Nina's name. Contact Cartier, I want a unique diamond ring customized. He used his familiar ways to try compensate, salvage. He thought no woman could refuse money and romance. But wrong again. Roses refused, returned intact, piled downstairs Lou group, huge joke. Deed mailed back, with note in Nina's neat writing, no reward without merit. Cartier designer said Miss Nina clearly won't accept any gifts from Mr. Lucas. All Lucas's gestures sank like stones, no ripples. Nina like determined spectator, coldly watching his ridiculous solo acts. He became anxious, paranoid. Started like a stalker, daily guarding outside Nina's studio or museum gate. He watched her chat laugh with colleagues. Watched her dine, view exhibits with Miles. They together so matching, harmonious. While he like a rat in dark corner, no courage to appear before her. He finally understood, he lost not just a wife. He lost the only person in the world who truly loved him. Lucas's crazy harassment still troubled Nina's life. Studio door always had his people sending expensive gifts, refused then piled at door, causing neighbor gossip. On way to museum, she always felt a black Bentley following not far. She knew it was Lucas. For all this, Nina chose to ignore. She went to work, off work as usual, met friends, dated Miles. Her life had turned new page, Lucas just insignificant footnote on previous. The calmer she, the crazier Lucas. That day, Nina and Miles finished an art exhibit, exiting gallery. At door, Lucas rushed out, blocking them. He looked much haggard, chin with blue stubble, expensive suit wrinkled, eyes bloodshot. Nina. He looked at Nina, voice hoarse, eyes with plea. Nina didn't twitch a brow, held Miles's hand, bypassing him to leave. Nina. Lucas anxious, grabbed her wrist, do you hate me so? Not even willing to say a word? His grip strong, hurting Nina's wrist. Miles's face cooled instantly, he flung Lucas's hand, shielding Nina. Mr. Lucas, please behave. Behave? Lucas stimulated, pointing at Miles, roaring at Nina, for him? For this pretty boy, you don't even want home? His words extremely ugly. Nina's face finally darkened. Lucas, I say again, we have no relation. Who I'm with is my freedom, not for you to comment. No relation? Lucas' self-mocked laugh, Nina, what you wear, use, which isn't from me. All you have now is from me. How say no relation? He must be crazy to say this. He forgot she left all his things in the villa. All she has now earned by her own hands, bit by bit. Lucas, did you remember wrong? Nina looked at him, eyes cold like watching a clown, this dress on me, I bought myself. House I live, I rented myself. Work, my teacher gave. Honors, I earned myself. All this, with you Lucas, no penny relation. As for what you gave, she paused, lifted right leg, lightly stamped ground, besides this leg that aches on rainy days, I can't think of else. Mr. Lucas, if you think I owe you, go sue in court. If you harass again, I'll report to police without hesitation. Finished, she didn't glance again, held Miles's arm, turned away. Lucas froze, as if in ice cave. Her every word like sharp knife, shredding his last dignity to pieces. So, in her heart, he left only hurt. Watching their distant backs, sharp pain in heart, vision black, he collapsed straight. When Lucas woke, he was in hospital. Gastric bleeding, plus long-term stress and lack of rest, caused faint. Ryan guarded bedside, worried. Lucas, you're finally awake. Lucas silent, empty eyes staring ceiling. He lost. Utterly defeated. Whatever he did, couldn't salvage Nina's heart. Despair like huge net trapped him. Was he really losing her forever? No. He couldn't accept. Urgent phone ring, company emergency. Ryan answered, face pale. Lucas, bad news. The South City project we followed, snatched by Shen Group. South City project was Lu Group's second half key. Lucas invested much effort and funds. And, their project leader is Miss Nina. Lucas's pupil shrank. What did you say? Miss Nina's studio reached strategic cooperation with Shen. She is chief designer, fully responsible for South City Jade Culture theme park design. Ryan's voice trembled. This news out, our stock price started plummeting. Lucas sat up abruptly from bed, too fierce, pulling stomach wound, pain making forehead sweat. But he ignored. He snatched Ryan's phone, screen full of news. Genius jade carver Nina joined Shen, creating Beijing cultural landmark. Lu Group hit hard, South City project changes hands. News photo, Nina and Miles together, signing agreement. She smiled confident, composed, radiant. While he could only lie on cold bed, like defeated dog, watching her ascend higher, farther from him. Bloody sweetness surged throat, vision black, he lost consciousness again. Lucas woke again 3 days later. In VIP ward, body extremely weak. These 3 days, Lu Group stock plummeted, market value evaporated nearly 10 billion. Shareholders argued fiercely at board, media negative news overwhelming. Once invincible business empire now teetering. And all caused by losing one woman. A woman he once discarded like old shoe. How ironic. Ward door opened, entering Lucas's father, Daniel. Over 60, still vigorous, commanding presence. Bastard. Daniel entered, slamming newspaper on Lucas's face. For a woman making company like this. You've lost all Lu family face. Newspaper front page, Nina and Miles at project release photo. Title, Immortal Couple, Strong Alliance. Lucas looked at photo, heart gripped invisible hand, hurting breathless. Dad. He tried explain, voice dry hoarse. Don't call me Dad. I have no such useless son. Daniel trembled pointing, I told you long ago, Nina good girl, treat her well. You? What did you do? For that shady woman outside, forced her away, now regret? Too late. I tell you, Lucas, whatever method, must snatch back South City project. Or get out of Lu Group. Daniel threw words, left angrily. Ward again only Lucas. Looking out gray sky, first time felt true despair. Career, love, family, seemed lost overnight. All self-inflicted. He picked phone, trembling hand, opened Nina's Facebook. Her Facebook opened to him. Latest post yesterday. Photo, her group at South City site. Wearing hard hat, work clothes, face dusty, but smiling brighter than ever. Caption, new start, full effort. Below, Miles like and comment, go for it. With heart emoji. Lucas's eyes stung by that small heart. He couldn't control, cried like child on bed. He missed her. Almost crazy. He regretted. Truly regretted. He'd trade all now for the Nina once full of him. But he knew, couldn't trade back. A month later, Lucas discharged. Much thinner, like all vitality drained. Didn't go company, directly to South City site. Site bustling. He spotted familiar figure at once. Nina in hard hat, holding blueprint, seriously discussing with workers. Sunlight on her, gilding golden halo. Focused and beautiful, unseen before. Like bewitched believer, he walked to her uncontrollably step by step. Nina. He stood before her, softly called. Nina looked up, flash of surprise, but quickly calm. Lucas, something? Her distant polite address like knife in his heart. I. Lucas opened mouth, but said nothing. Apology? Plea? Threat? Before her now, all pale powerless. If for South City project, sorry. Nina thought he came to snatch, said formulaically, this our cooperation with Shin, all by contract. I'm not. Lucas spoke difficultly, I just want to see you. See me? Nina as if heard funny, what's to see? I'm doing well now, no need Lucas concern. Nina, can we start over? Lucas mustered courage, said heartfelt. With almost humble eyes, voice trembling plea, I know wrong, really wrong. Give me another chance, okay? Nina quietly looked. Looking at this once superior man who trampled her dignity, now with pitiful posture begging forgiveness. She felt no satisfaction, no softening. Her heart long still dead water. She smiled faintly, but with power to destroy all his hopes. Lucas, do you know? The night you broke my leg, I lay on cold floor, called you last time. Then, I thought, if you come, save me, I can forgive anything. But you didn't. From you hanging up, the Nina in my heart died. What you see now is new Nina. Her world has no you. Nina's words like final judgment, shattered all Lucas's fantasies. He stood dazed, looking, lips moving but no word. So, he missed not just a call. He missed her last chance to love him. So, Lucas, Nina's tone calm, like stating unrelated fact, don't waste effort. Between us, long over. Finished, she turned to leave. No. Lucas like mad, hugged her tight from behind. Buried face in her neck, greedily breathing familiar fragrance, body trembling in fear. Nina, don't go. Don't leave me. I can't without you. Really can't. He cried like helpless child, tears wetting her collar. Workers stopped, stunned looking. Nina's body stiffened. She didn't struggle, didn't turn. Just let him hold, feeling his hot tears on her skin. Once, she fantasized this. Him holding tight, saying I can't without you. But now, when real, her heart only barren. Laid affection cheaper than grass. Lucas, she spoke lightly, voice emotionless, let go. I won't. Death won't. He held tighter, Nina, forgive me okay? Whatever you want, I'll do. Want my life, I'll give. What do I want your life for? Nina suddenly laughed, with sorrow, Lucas, you still don't understand. What I wanted was never your money, power, nor life. I wanted just a bit of your true heart. But you couldn't give. Finished, she used all strength, pried his fingers from her waist one by one. Then turned, first and last time, seriously looked at his eyes. Those eyes once sank her, despaired her. Lucas, wish you happiness. Said these 4 words, she turned away without nostalgia. Every step firm, resolute. Like blade, severing last tie between them. Lucas reached, wanting to grab, but only empty air. He watched her figure in sight dust, farther, until vanished from sight. Not far, miles by car, smiling waiting. Open door for her, thoughtfully shielding her head. In sun, they looked so matching, happy. Lucas stood like weathered statue. He knew, lost her forever. The girl who once saw him as world wouldn't return. He lost. To his own arrogance, conceit, coldness. Lost everything. A year later. South City Jade Culture Theme Park grand opening, became Beijing new cultural landmark, visitors endless. Nina as chief designer, fame soared, her studio in Yanshua became top domestic jade brand, works hard to give for thousands gold. Her and Miles's relationship fruited, held low-key warm wedding. At wedding, in white gown, she smiled full happiness. While Lou Group, after that blow, vitality hurt, barely operating, but no longer past glory. Lucas completely vanished from public view. Some said, unable to bear blow, mentally ill, sent to foreign sanatorium. Others said he gave up Lou Group inheritance, went alone to remote mountains to teach. But no one cared his whereabouts. Like meteor across sky, once dazzling, finally silent. Under a Jiangnan corridor bridge, a bearded, withered man sat by river, with old carving knife, clumsily carving on inferior stone. He carved seriously, slowly. Sunset glow on him, pulling long lonely shadow. Passers-by thought him mad. No one knew he was once commanding Lucas. Nor knew he carved a woman's profile. That woman's features like deep in his memory, the Nina he destroyed himself, now only meet in dreams. He carved stroke by stroke, as if to spend rest of life on this stubborn stone. River flowed quietly, taking time, his all regrets and longings. Leaving only unfinished work and faint sigh.